A brand new series on the book, Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender by Dr. David R. Hawkins, coming up right after this. Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Yoel, very grateful to have you. And today is the start of a very exciting new series on the book called Letting Go, The Pathway to Surrender by the brilliant and late Dr. David R. Hawkins. I'm not going to go into a bio of Dr. Hawkins, although it's important to know who the author is of a book that I'm going to be profiling because his bio is just too long, and I think that may bog down a lot of you watchers and listeners to my channel. But suffice it to say that I'll have a link in the notes to this video below that you can go and check out more about Dr. Hawkins. And without further ado, what I want to do is to go through this book in detail and allow you to really see why it is that this is one of my favorite all-time books, not just my favorite all-time book. I'm sure it's a favorite of many, very popular book. His other very well-known book, he's written many, many books, but his other very well-known book, actually in my library out of vision of this video, is called Power versus Force, another Dr. David Hawkins amazing book. But this one in particular is something that really speaks to me, and I felt that it would be wise and helpful to share it with you, my audience, so that you can benefit from it rather in the same way that I did. By the way, before I forget, thanks to those who have subscribed to my channel. If you haven't already subscribed, you can learn more about me on the home channel, where I've got a little brief introduction about me and the purpose of this channel. And don't forget to like this video as well. And I'm very grateful to all those who subscribe. It definitely helps you not miss a future video when you hit the notification bell, but also helps me to continue to produce videos just like this one. That said, the intention that I'm setting here to do is to actually read chapter by chapter. In fact, I'm going to start with the preface in this video because nobody could say it better than Dr. Hawkins himself in his own words. And the point here and the purpose is not to just kind of reproduce a sort of audible version of the book in its entirety. Well, I will be doing that in the sense that I'll be reading from the book. I'll also be adding my notes where I feel appropriate, and I'll be trying to give you summaries at the end of each reading. So the reading is a bit long. I don't expect you to sit and stare at my face, my pretty face, the entire time as I read the book. You can be listening while you do other chores, while you're working on something, wherever it is you're watching this from or listening to this from, but it will give you an opportunity to absorb the information and really understand the text for what it is, so that you can really get the full meaning of the book. In the past, I've profiled books. Definitely, many of you have watched my series on Michael Singer, Living Untethered. By the way, a lot of the teachings of Michael Singer really overlap with this book on letting go. A lot of the same principles apply, and it's not a surprise that that's the case, because essentially the great teachers all understood what it takes in order to find that sort of inner freedom and to do that work. So Michael Singer, David Hawkins, many, many others out there. But in that series, I didn't read from the book itself. And definitely, I recommend that you get the book so that you can read it for yourself. But for those who haven't had a chance yet, at least this way, you can actually hear the text yourself to get the full understanding. Okay, so I'm going to jump right in and get to the preface. This one chapter I may not be summarizing at the end because the preface is a kind of summary. Now you may be wondering still, like, what is this book about? What's he talking about? So listen on and you'll start to get a sense of the importance of this book and how it will really help you. I don't want to make promises of changing your life, although it really does change your life when you internalize the messages and the lessons that are found in this book. So this is the preface. There is a foreword in the book that I have. I skipped that part of it. If you have the book or you buy the book, then you can read the foreword on your own. But this is the preface from the words of Dr. David Hawkins himself. During many years of clinical psychiatric practice, the primary aim was to seek the most effective ways to relieve human suffering in all of its many forms. To this end, numerous disciplines of medicine, psychology, psychiatry, psychoanalysis, behavioral techniques, biofeedback, acupuncture, nutrition, and brain chemistry were explored. Beyond these clinical modalities were philosophical systems, metaphysics, a multitude of holistic health techniques, self-improvement courses, spiritual pathways, meditative techniques, and other ways to expand one's awareness. In all of these explorations, the mechanism of surrender was found to be of great practical benefit. Its importance necessitated the writing of this book to share with others what was clinically observed and personally experienced. The previous 10 books focused on advanced states of awareness and enlightenment. And remember, one of those books was Power versus Force. Over the years, thousands of students at our lectures and satsangs have asked questions that reveal the everyday obstacles to enlightenment. It is pragmatic and helpful to share a technique that will facilitate their success in overcoming such obstacles. How to handle the vicissitudes of ordinary life with its losses, disappointments, stresses, and crises. How do we do that? How to be free of negative emotions and their impact on health, relationships, and work. The present work describes a simple and effective means by which to let go of negative feelings and become free. The letting go technique is a pragmatic system of eliminating obstacles and attachments. It can also be called a mechanism of surrender. There is scientific proof of its efficacy, an explanation of which is included in one of the chapters. Research has shown the technique to be more effective than many other approaches currently available in relieving the physiologic response to stress. After researching most of the various stress reduction and consciousness methods, this approach stands out for its sheer simplicity, efficiency, clinical efficiency, absence of questionable concepts, and rapidity of observable results. Its simplicity is deceptive and almost disguises the real benefit of the technique. Simply stated, it sets us free from emotional attachments. It verifies the observation made by every sage, that attachments are the primary cause of suffering. I'll say that again. Attachments are the primary cause of suffering. The mind, with its thoughts, is driven by feelings. Each feeling is the cumulative derivative of many thousands of thoughts. Because most people throughout their lives repress, suppress, and try to escape from their feelings, and we'll get into that as we go through the book, the suppressed energy accumulates and seeks expression through psychosomatic distress, bodily disorders, emotional illnesses, and disordered behavior in interpersonal relationships. The accumulated feelings block spiritual growth. By the way, again, those who have listened to my series on lectures and the book of Michael Singer on Living Untethered will know how he talks about blockages. So the accumulated feelings block spiritual growth and awareness, as well as success in many areas of life. The benefits of this technique can, therefore, be described on various levels. Physical. The elimination of suppressed emotions has a positive health benefit. It decreases the overflow of energy into the body's autonomic nervous system, and it unblocks the acupuncture energy system demonstrable by a simple muscle test. Therefore, as a person constantly surrenders, physical and psychosomatic disorders improve and frequently disappear altogether. There is a general reversal of pathologic processes in the body and a return to optimal functioning. Behavioral. Because there is a progressive decrease of anxiety and negative emotions, there is less and less need for escapism via drugs, alcohol, entertainment, and excessive sleep. Consequently, there is an increase in vitality, energy, presence, and well-being, with more efficient and effortless functioning in all areas. Interpersonal relationships. As negative feelings are surrendered, there is a progressive increase of positive feelings that results in quickly observable improvement in all relationships. There is an increase in the capacity to love. Conflicts with others decrease progressively so that job performance improves. The elimination of negative blocks allows vocational goals to be more easily accomplished, and self-sabotaging behavior based on guilt progressively diminishes. As we'll see in the book, guilt is a big one that he talks about. There is less and less dependence on intellectualism and a greater use of intuitive knowingness. With the resumption of personality growth and development, there is often the uncovering of previously unsuspected creative and psychic abilities, which are thwarted in all people by suppressed negative emotions. Of great importance is the progressive diminution of dependency, the bane of all human relationships. I'll read that again. He says that dependency is the bane of all human relationships. Dependency underlines so much pain and suffering. It includes even violence and suicide as its ultimate expression. As dependency diminishes, there is also a diminution of aggressiveness and hostile behavior. These negative feelings are replaced by feelings of acceptance and lovingness towards others. Consciousness slash awareness slash spirituality. This is an area that opens up by continuous use of mechanism of surrender. The letting go of negative emotions means that the person experiences ever increasing happiness, contentment, peace, and joy. There's an expansion of awareness, progressive realization, and experiencing of the real inner self. The real inner self. The teachings of the great masters unfold from within as one's own personal experience. The progressive letting go of limitations allows the realization at last of one's true identity. Letting go is one of the most efficacious tools by which to reach spiritual goals. Anyone can accomplish all of these ends with gentleness and subtlety as one silently surrenders throughout daily life. The progressive disappearance of negativity and its replacement by positive feelings and experiences is pleasurable both to watch and to experience. It is the purpose of this information to assist the reader in having those rewarding experiences. And that's the end of that chapter. So we see here, before we get into the actual meat and potatoes, if you will, of the book, the next chapter starting with the introduction, Hawkins makes a lot of promises that span across pretty much everything: the physical, the behavioral, interpersonal relationships, consciousness, awareness, and spirituality. So you can see, if you suspend your disbelief, maybe suspend your cynicism. He does talk about being skeptical. He says in the next chapter, as we'll get into, it's okay to be skeptical. We've all read various self-help books, personal development books, all sorts of things, and Hawkins is going to get into that in the next chapter. So it's okay if you approach this with skepticism, but I would add, but not cynicism. Be open-minded. Be willing to receive new information that may just be the thing that puts you over the edge, if you will, into that state of freedom and happiness and serenity. It definitely did that for me. Of course, it's a work in progress. I'm not saying that I'm perfect or I've reached perfection or enlightenment or anything of that nature, but I can certainly say that I'm much better off having read this book than I was before I read the book. And that's one of the many reasons why I want to share this with you. Okay, so Hawkins' words make that very clear, that there's a lot to be gained by reading this book, by listening to somebody reading this book for you, I guess you can say, and by the teachings that are encompassed in this book. It's a very long book, so it's going to be a very long series, but there's a lot to be gained from it. So bear with me, and I look forward to seeing you on this journey on the next video. Once again, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Don't forget to like the video. Share this with anybody who you think would also enjoy this series and any other videos that I have. I also talk about lighter things such as Curb Your Enthusiasm reviews that I've done, different forms of entertainment that I've talked about. The channel is really about things that are of interest to me, but spirituality, consciousness, awareness, self-development is a big one in my life. And if you're watching this video, I'm sure it is for you as well. It's something that you value, and kudos to you for that. Okay, so I look forward to sharing this and going on this journey with you, and I look forward to seeing you at the next video. Of course, by the way, before I forget, I have to work on these conclusions. If you have any comments or have any questions, definitely feel free to leave that below. A lot of your questions will be answered in future videos, but questions and feedback are always welcome. As this channel continues to be in its infancy, I started it a while ago, but I've had challenges with finding the time to update the videos more frequently. I'm trying to set an intention to do that, but because the channel is relatively in its infancy as of the date of this recording, which is June 2025, there's more of a chance that you'll actually get a response from me. I think if I reach a point where there's thousands of comments, that may be a little more difficult, but your feedback is definitely welcome nonetheless. Even if I personally can't respond, other people on the channel may see your comment and they may respond to you, and that's how you get a dialogue going and everybody benefits from it. Okay, once again, thanks again for watching, and looking forward to seeing you at the next video. Hey, thanks for watching. I know your time is valuable, and that's one of the many reasons I'm grateful that you watched my video. Check out the next video in this series or in my library. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and the notification bell so that you don't miss a future video. And it will also help me to continue producing videos just like this one. I appreciate it.